What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chazz, and today we're breaking down Dio's 2000 release of Magica. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chazz, and today we are breaking down Magica by Dio, an album that was released in 2000. So pretty much almost like 20 years since since Dio, maybe like 16, 17 years since Dio made his solo career. For y'all that don't know much about Ronnie James Dio, the singer and namesake of the band, he was the one that was chosen to start the band Rainbow when Ritchie Blackmore left, I guess, a solo career, but Dio was the singer of that. Dio was also the singer chosen to replace the great Ozzy Osbourne in Black Sabbath. So after two successful runs in Rainbow and Black Sabbath, he came out with his solo band Dio with Vivian Campbell, and they had the major groundbreaking debut album of Holy Diver. Great stuff. Great albums going through The Last in Line, Sacred Heart, Dream Evil, Lock Up the Wolves, Strange Highways. And then I took a little bit of a break, and then he came back in 2000 with this one, Magica. And it's a concept album. It's a story. It's all over the place. It features the return of Craig Goldy on guitar. Craig Goldy replaced Vivian Campbell for the Dream Evil album, and then was out of the band. So he only did the one, and then he came back for this one and the following a follow-up album, Master of the Moon. If you can't tell, I'm a big Dio guy. I love his voice. He's one of my favorite singers. He always gets, it's like the Ozzy solo. He always gets great guitar players. They always are like very creative, and just Dio, though, if there's a debate between Dio and Ozzy, sure, Ozzy's more culturally influential, but I'm all about Dio. I love Dio. So let's get started checking out the vinyl. Now, this vinyl I showed you on my Discogs, and just to remind myself, is minimally worth $75 and maximally worth $319. So this is the 2013 Record Store Day pressing. And as you can see, all that, I bought it for $19.98 in 2013. It says it right here. For the first time, the first ever picture disc from the 2000 landmark concept album Magica, limited to 500 copies for Record Store Day, featuring 17 tracks, including the bonus song Annika. So this was cool that I got to get this when I did. I remember when I saw it on Record Store Day, I didn't even know it was coming, and it was actually the first Record Store Day I ever did. That's about the time I discovered Record Store Day. So I was collecting vinyl at this point, but it was cool to get this $20. Now it's worth a lot, but I'm never going to sell it. So it only came in this plastic sleeve here that it's in. Like, I put it in one of the premium sleeves, but this is it. This is all you got. This is all it came with, was the sleeve and this vinyl. But let's take a look at it. It is beautiful. That is the actual artwork of the album. If you were gonna have, I had the CD as well when I was a kid, but that is the actual artwork of the vinyl, and I think it's awesome. The story. You've got Chazz. You've got what's the other guy's name? It's listed on here. Ariel. Like I said, Chalice is one of the other guys. So I'm assuming that's the bad guy. Well, maybe it's the good guy. I don't know. The font, the deal with the magic on the bottom. and it's a picture disc, obviously, and on the back as well. That's why, it could be the bad guy. I don't know what's going on with the other side of his face there. Um, it's a really cool cover. I just love that face. Dio has always had some of the best covers. It's a really cool cover, and it is actually considering, a lot of stuff from these 80s bands that came out 2000 and on weren't the best, including Ozzy. I mean, but Ozzy's still, actually Ozzy's still releasing stuff that people like, so good for him. But you had Dio, you've had, I think the best people that were making music moving forward in 2000s on from that 70s, 80s rockers were Dio. You got to give Ozzy some love, and Iron Maiden. Like, all those guys, like Iron Maiden, I actually prefer post 2000 on with Yannick and all those guys and things like that. So, well, that's the final. That's everything you got to see, because there's not much to show, obviously. So why don't we check out some of the music? Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed some of those songs. I'm actually going to include my favorite song from the album at the end of this. Maybe I'll put the whole song in, copyright dependent. I've got hit copyright on every single video so far, so I'm trying to figure out how not to. But this one I do really want to showcase a special song. And then I can't hang it up right here next to me like I normally do because it's not in a jacket and it's falling, so you'll have to deal. So a little blurb about the album. The album, as I said, the album marks the return of guitarist Craig Goldy, who also performed Dio's album Dream Evil and the later release Master of the Moon. See, I'm good. Dio did announce his intention to start the Magica II and III album after the Heaven and Hell tour ended. Heaven and Hell was his band that was the Black Sabbath band that he was in, just touring under another name in the 2000s. But he died shortly after of stomach cancer on May 16th, 2010. Rest in peace to Dio, one of my favorites. Said Dio on the concept of the album. Magica is the saga of blessing a netherworld invaded by dark forces and the Vapros people into pure evil energy. I said that weird. Let me restart that. I'm not even editing that out. Sorry. Magica is the saga of blessing a netherworld invaded by dark forces that vaporize people into pure evil energy. The planet's survivors are master, apprentice heroes, Ariel and Chazz. Okay, I was saying that one was the bad guy, so my bad. They're both the heroes who must recite a spell from the sacred book Magica to defeat their foe Shadowcast. That's right, Shadowcast is the bad guy. The album is written from the villain's viewpoint. I took on the evil perspective because I've always written from an anti-perspective. Most people don't think in those terms, so you're freer to create. I left the ending ambivalent because evil always exists. Good doesn't always triumph. And that's the universal balance, which is pretty true. So it's a cool story. You know, it's your classic, just, you know, your story, good versus evil, right? I'm not the biggest fan of rock operas and concept albums and all that stuff, but if you break this down just into music and songs, it's a pretty good album. The version I have has a few more songs. We're just going to talk about the the actual original release. And it is found on Spotify if you want to listen to it and check it out. I hope you did, because I really like this album. So starts off with Discovery, which is just an intro to the album, a rock opera kind of piece, just a classical rocking kind of piece. And he just brings in the album with that. I lied. I'm sorry. The first one, Discovery, is like a little intro of some alien talking. You get a lot of alien or robot kind of narration in this album. And then the second track is Magica theme. That's the rock opera part. I always combine them in one in my head, but looking here, they're dual track listed. So right off the rip, you got like a long, basically between the two of them, 2-minute intro. So both written by Dio. Everything was written by Dio. Okay, so the track 3 is Lord of the Last Day, and that's a track you heard coming in. Nice little slow, sludgy, good riff by Craig Goldy. It's just it's like a harkens back to like an old slow Sabbath song, and I really like that. Fever Dreams is a little bit more upbeat. I believe you heard that one as well. It reminds me of some like later Dio stuff, like early 90s Dio stuff on like Strange Highways and stuff. It's a really good song, and it's catchy. That chorus always gets stuck in my head. Then you've got Turn to Stone, which is another great song, and then Feed My Head, which has got this like chanty kind of chorus that always gets stuck in my head. All is lost, hope is dead. I think it's a really cool song, right? And then you have the back-to-back. I don't know what to call them. I guess they're not origin songs, but it's about the two good guys, the main characters, and that would be Ariel and Chalice. And they're good songs. They're long. They take you on a journey. They're heavy. You know, this album is a really good job of staying heavy until a certain point, but that is coming up in a second. So up to this point, we're 8 songs deep, but really 6, right? You're at 6 because the first 2, they're all really good rockers. Then you get to track 9, which is my pick on the whole album. I absolutely love this song since the moment I first heard it. You don't think of Ronnie James Dio as ballads, ever. You don't think of that. And this song is called As Long As It's Not About Love. And it starts off with the robotic narration. And I even like the way that leads into it. Technically, I think it might be at the end of the Chalice songs. But, like, the robot narration is I'm not going to really, like, do it justice. But it's like, require information. What is love? Who is love? Where is love? Why is love? And that's an interesting concept to think about, right? You know, and I just like the way that was played like that. And then it rips right into this beautiful, slow guitar part. Slow electric guitar, clean. Like, you don't get a lot of that. That's something that I've been trying to find more. Like, there's a lot of acoustic pieces and a lot of electric hard stuff, but a really soulful, cool, clean electric guitar. When you get a good one, it's beautiful and it's something special. And this is one of them. As Long As It's Not About Love, Dio, Craig Goldy. this just beautiful intro that continues, and then Dio's voice comes in just smooth and soaring, dare I say operatic, and just very clean and very heartfelt. And they do it for about two full verses. And at the end of the second verse, man, he is belting. You can hear the emotion in his voice. To me, it is like upper echelon of like metal emotion in vocals, and it does not take away anything from anybody, but he just really found his way to just put that emotion in that part, especially the end of the second verse. And then the guitars kick in and you get more verse and solos and another chorus, but it just, the apex of that song to me is at the end of that second verse, right before it kicks in, and it can't be touched on anything. And I just really recommend that. And I know that I'm like gushing over it. Like this, I'm sad that I did not put this on my top 10 love songs I did for Valentine's Day, because when Robbie and I did the top 10 podcast, it was on there for me, and I skipped it on this one. But you know what? It happens, right? I just kind of slipped my mind. The next track is called Losing My Insanity. Another really cool Craig Goldy guitar part. He's just got this like this jaunty like Irish kind of like guitar flair. Sounds fingerpicked. I think it's two guitars though, but like it's just got this dancey like Irish, like you want to get up and do a dance to it. But then the electric guitar comes in behind it towards the end, and it's just a really cool song. It sticks with that feeling the whole song. Losing My Insanity. It's a really cool, and especially like after the As Long As It's Not About Love song. Like it's a good juxtaposition between the two, and I really like it. And then we're at the end of the album with Otherworld, a really really heavy song. And then we reprise out with The Lord of the Last Day. And the final track on the album is called The Magica Story. And it's an 18-minute spoken word segment by Ronnie James Dio, just explaining the story and reading the story. And like, granted, I don't listen to it that often, the story. It's the end of the album. About 3 minutes into his talk, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. But like, it's a cool thing to have. And like, we don't have Ronnie James Dio anymore. And, like, it's cool that you got 18 minutes of him just talking, telling a story that he wrote. He wrote a whole album around. And I think I just think it's really cool. And it's a great end to the album if you sit there and stick through it. So looking at the personnel for this album, you had Ronnie James Dio, vocals and keyboards, Craig Goldy, guitars and keyboards, Jimmy Bain, who he's been with forever, I think since back in Rainbow, on bass, and Simon Wright on drums, who he had going, I think, since the early 90s. And I believe Simon Wright was also in AC/DC in the 90s, too. And it was produced by Ronnie James Dio. So if you can't tell, I'm a fan of this album. Is it my favorite Dio album? It's up there. It's hard to beat Holy Diver. The thing about this album is this came out in 2000. I just got into Dio in about 2000. So I probably bought this album. I'm not going to say I bought it brand new, but I probably bought it in like 01, 02, right after it was out. So this was like the first like new Dio album after I got into him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, I stole my brother's old albums of Holy Diver and The Last in Line and loved it. And then I remember seeing this one. Oh, it just came out a year ago or so. Hell, maybe I even bought it in 2000. I don't know. But it wasn't brand. I didn't buy it brand new. I'm not gonna lie to you people. So this was like the first new Dio album that came out, and I just remember loving it, the heaviness, and that As Long As It's Not About Love song had just always stuck out to me as being something super special. And it's just it's a really cool story. It's a really cool journey it brings you on. And even with the music, it's just a really cool journey. And I mean that. Like, it's just a cool journey of everything. And it's a high recommend for me. I'm going to give this one a 9. I think I gave the last one an 8.5, and I really like that one, but I like this one more. Is it perfect? It's not perfect at all. But it's just a really good album, and I was so happy when it came up. You guys saw it when it came up, and I was so happy when it came up. And don't mind me, I'm just setting up the random. Okay, so I was so happy when it came up. I'm so happy I got to give this some love. I hope you guys did your research on it. What do you think of this album? If you're an old school Dio fan and you never heard it, give it a chance. It's a really good album. It's that journey, and Dio likes to tell stories, and like, it's just so him. And if you're not giving him a chance, you're missing it out. You're doing a disservice to him and to yourself, because you need to check this album out. Again, the high points of the album for me are As Long As It's Not About Love and Losing My Insanity. But they're all really good songs. You really, really, really can't miss out on this album. Please do yourself a favor. Please do yourself a favor and check this out. I beg of thee. This is a number 9 album for me, okay? Alright, so we gushed about it. We're going to move on to the random selection. Y'all remember the rules. If it comes up random, we're going to do it. The only ones we're not going to do is a Christmas album. We'll save that for Christmas time. Although somebody did recommend that I do Christmas in July, but I don't think I'm going to do that. But we'll see. And if it's something, and I skipped one last week, if it's something that comes up that I don't think I don't want to listen to. It was a death metal album that came up by a band nobody's ever heard of. It was a random vinyl I was given, so like I didn't want to do it, so we threw it out, and it's done. And I reserve that right because this is my channel. So that's what we're doing. So as always, we're starting out in our collection. We're in the 0s to 9s. You can see there with, we always start off with 36 Crazy Fists and 30 Seconds to Mars. We do the shake. We find out what we get. Wow. Okay. This is a cool one. Now this one, okay, this was another, I think, record store day release. It's not worth any money. But it is the Ramones live in Buffalo, February 8th, 1979. For y'all that don't know, I am from Buffalo. So when I saw this on a record store day release, I got really excited. It is, you know how the Ramones go, guys. It is, there is 23 songs on this one album. One vinyl, front and back. 23 songs. If you guys never heard the Ramones play live, it is breakneck speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the song's over. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a fucking ride. So I'm super happy. So this is technically an unofficial release. So it's an underground release. It's a whatever you want to call them. But you know what? We're gonna do it live in Buffalo, February 8th, 1979, by the Ramones. We'll get a better picture here for you guys to see. All right. That's your homework. It's our first live album. I'm wearing my Ramones shirt. Guys, you saw me shake the camera. And plus, trust me, if I was going to pick a Ramones album, I wouldn't necessarily go to a live one because I don't know about them live. So I haven't listened to this album in a while. So I'm interested to check it out again and see how it is. So please do your homework if you can find it. It might be hard to find. You might be able to find it on YouTube or something. I doubt you're going to find it anywhere else. But you'll probably find it on YouTube. Again, that's live in Buffalo, February 8th, 1979 by the Ramones. I'm pretty sure it's an actual radio recording that was broadcast. So it's a good, sounding, bootleg. But it's just, it's a Ramones live, and they're they are breakneck speed live, so I hope you enjoyed Magica. I hope you enjoy the Ramones album coming up. And I will see you guys next week, right? We're going to be there for the Ramones. We'll be here. We'll be ready to rock. I'm happy you guys are still joining me, still getting great views, great feedback. I'd appreciate any comments you got about Dio in the comment section below. Any comments you got about Ramones. And until then, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Be fire! Exclamation. What is love? Who is love? When is love? Where is love? Why is love?
As long as it's not about love, shall we sail off the edge of the world, fall forever and never look behind? But I must keep my heart from my mind. Lay beside me now and tell me lies, as long as it's not